and we are
We are
live from
here.
West Texas for me and the Panhandle for Jeff. And
That's right. Risk
here we
graders, you are
go.
lucky today. We have one
Friday
of the risk
morning.
graders is in the wild. It's out
Yeah,
serving nature.
nature. Yeah, we're outdoors. At least I am outdoors at my friend Michael Sachs's ranch in Harper, Texas, and you can see the metal building, his metal home behind me here, and I'm looking out on a beautiful Texas rocky Edwards Plateaus kind of scenery here. It's very beautiful. Lots of birds, lots of red birds flying around. It's very cool. Very cool out
Fantastic.
here.
I am jealous, my friend, and we'd like to welcome everybody here to another episode of Risk Graders, where two seasoned, old, grumpy insurance agents have come together to share all of our mighty wisdom, make up some stories, tell you some things that we think that might help you go out and protect your family and businesses, but do not ever think that we're giving you professional advice, because we're not. We need to tell you to go talk to your own agent, your own attorney, your own accountant, those people you pay to have them give you professional advice on what you need to do to protect your family and your business. Well, I hope you're having a good time out there in the nature. You're looking around. Are there any guns going off yet? Is the whiskey broken out yet? Is this going to be a sober broadcast? What are we looking at today, Brent?
It's been, well, it wasn't sober last night. Obviously, we were up here and we definitely did not shoot anything. We did not fire any guns yet. It is opening day of deer season today, but I have not
Yes,
heard
it
any
is.
rifle shots. So I don't know if maybe there's not a lot of hunting going on around us here, but normally you'd hear some, right? But
Yeah.
I'm not hearing anything yet, so I don't guess anybody around here is hunting. But yeah, it's beautiful out here today. It's like 40 something degrees and no wind almost. Very, very pleasant out here on the. You can see I've got a coat on because it's cold.
I didn't even know you owned
And
a
it's
coat. People in Houston don't own
I did.
jackets,
I
do
had to
you? You
borrow one.
borrowed it.
I had to borrow a coat. I mean, I was like, "Hey, I don't have a coat, and it's cold."
It's
So
cold.
yeah,
It's
it's
cold.
cool.
Well, I
Yeah.
think today, we're checking the news and we're seeing what's going on. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about your stuff. And one of the things in the news when we're broadcasting this is this big heist in France at the Louvre.
Heist,
Heist. I like that word. It sounds better
glory
than theft.
heist.
I think the
Yeah,
Lubbock paper needs to always say, that somebody got arrested for a heist. I think
heist.
that makes the crime sound a little bit better.
I think
But as you
in
know,
when you're in Paris, it's a heist,
yeah,
right?
it's a,
That's a
it's a
thing.
heist. Yeah, well, when they said it was the Louvre, I thought that was a bathroom. And
No,
it's not,
no,
I'm
it's
not
an
going to
art
go there, ladies
museum.
and
I'm
gentlemen, but I'm
pretty
just
sure.
saying, I was like, man, what do they keep in their bathrooms there? Like $100 million worth of jewel? I don't know, but I hope it all works out for them. But anyway, it's a kind of a funny little story on that. The jewels, as this broadcast, are still missing. They're starting to round up people who did it. We were kind of laughing earlier about, what's the best time to rob a museum? And apparently it's right in the middle of the day when everybody's there. And
Can you believe that they rolled a crane up to the side of the building in the middle of the day
yeah,
and
let's
cut
put
a
on the
hole in the window
reflective,
and climbed in and
let's put on
stole? I mean, it's like,
the glow in the dark clothes and let's go up a ladder in front of
yeah,
everybody. That's maybe the
yeah.
smartest thing ever. Who knows?
Get me a little closer. I can't reach the window yet. I mean, I can't believe they just busted in the window. Or they cut a hole in the window, supposedly, got inside, got the jewels, and were off on motorcycles within a few minutes. And it's like, wow, where's the security? I mean, there's priceless artifacts there. I
I
mean, I'm
mean,
thinking, yeah,
you would think it would be the safest place to have jewels and all those things kept, but apparently, I don't know. It's like we were talking about leading into this story. It's the unknown, it's the
I
unexplained
know.
stuff that you kind of have to watch for. And in our businesses of risk management and insurance, that's kind of what we think about, right? We have to think
Yeah,
about
the
those things,
unexpected.
the unexpected, the most obvious. And today we're going to lead in a little bit because I don't know. I mean, people have crowns at home. Some of you may have crowns. We hope you do. That's a whole nother story. But everybody has these valuable items sitting around their house, or they're wearing them, and they're doing all these things. And I'm not saying that you're going to have a heist at your house, but you're also going to be out and about wearing these things. You're also going to start. This is being recorded on Halloween, which kind of starts the party season. You know what I mean? So you're
Yeah,
going to have a lot of people coming in your home, doing all this stuff,
right.
and Thanksgiving, people get into the mashed potatoes. All of a sudden, it's on the Rembrandt that you have in there. It's all over the place. What are you going to do? So we're going to give you some tips today on some of those, what we call valuable items. I'm going to let Brent kind of explain what that is and how you might want to consider protecting those things.
Yeah, it's a neat form of insurance. I know we've said that about some other policies, but uh, a personal articles floater, as we call it in the business, is a policy that you can either add to your homeowners in some cases, or you can buy one standalone that covers really anything that you have that's valuable. It can be art, it can be jewelry, it can be furs, it can be hearing aids. It can be just about anything. And the cool thing about it is you don't have to insure all your jewelry. You can pick out the pieces that you wear often, or firearms. Let's say you have a favorite shotgun that you use for dove hunting and going out and anytime you're bird hunting, you probably use the same shotgun for the most part, unless it's, you might have a duck gun or something specialized. But you can schedule those pieces that you use a lot and protect them fully, even if you lose it or it's damaged or you don't know what happened to it. That's the other kind of neat part of the coverage. It covers what we call mysterious disappearance. Like, oh, I had this ring and now it's gone and I don't know what happened to it.
Maybe we
That's
should start
covered.
calling that a heist. That's a
Yeah,
heist.
it's a
The
it's a
mysterious
mysterious heist. You don't know what happened, and these are
Right.
usually things that if you bought your wife or girlfriend or significant other an expensive ring for engagement, and the thing gets lost, or the diamond falls out of it, that's covered, and you're going to have to replace that ring, and if it was 50,000 or 75,000 bucks, you know you got to have coverage under the schedule. That's
Yeah.
what
Do
it's
you want to
for.
pay for that? Do you want to pay for it twice? Is what I ask our customers. If you have something that you don't want to pay for twice, is something that you want to look at scheduling on a policy. And when you look at I think one of the things that people get a little confused is they'll get their homeowners policy out and they'll see some things like this that look like there's a little bit of jewelry coverage, there's a little bit of fur coverage, and really the homeowners policy, it's very small limits and it's very narrowed to very few things that can happen to it. Where if you schedule items and you do that, it broadens, like Brent was talking about, mysterious disappearance, stone falling out, things like that. That's not going to be covered under your homeowner's policy unless it's been scheduled with one of these forms of coverage or you have this separate policy.
Right.
Well, you might want to tell Brent a little bit of the difference. Sometimes, the thing about it is a lot of things appreciate and change, especially jewelries and stuff. We've talked about replacement cost in the past, but a lot of these policies can be written on agreed value. What's your thoughts
Yeah, you
about
can
that?
you can do a lot of different things with it. Now, first of all, when you go to make a list of things you want to send to your agent to schedule, you're going to have to get appraisals for all of these things, and you need to keep up with those appraisals. Like if you schedule a painting for $10,000 and it appreciates, you need to go in and adjust it. You need to have it reappraised periodically, and that's probably the painful part of scheduling, is that you do have to keep up with the values, and you've got to look at that schedule every few years and really review it and say, oh, I don't have enough coverage on that watch, or I don't have enough coverage on that painting has gone way up. And so you do have to keep up with the values. It's not automatic. And so the appraisal process is a big part of it. And you want to, and when you go to get jewelry appraised, the people you buy it from, a lot of times will always say, well, what do you want me to put on there? I know you paid $1,000 for it, but I can put $5,000 on it. Well, you don't want to do that. You
No.
want to cover it for what it would cost to replace it. Don't over-insure it, because the company's going to look to replace it, with like kind or quality. And so don't put $50,000 coverage on it. If you can replace it for $1,000, just buy $1,000 for the coverage. It's
Oh, I
not.
know.
It's not tricky. It's just, it's pretty simple and straightforward. But the appraisals are important because it describes the item and, gives us something to put in the policy that's descriptive and has a value.
Yeah, one of the things too that it's amazing to me what people collect. I don't know, it's one of those. Not everybody talks about like if they're into collecting. Certainly, we know about the baseball cards, and I don't know how many people collect. People collect coins. People really don't talk about what they collect. But people have some peculiar interests of the things they collect that can have significant values to them.
Oh, yeah.
And
And you can
yeah, and that
inherit them.
Oh yeah, you inherit them. Yeah, that is one of the things. Like when a grandparent or a parent passes away, and you're going through stuff, and you're like, "What in the world?" You can get into some things that have some values. If you're a musician up here in Lubbock, we like to think with the Buddy Holly Center, we started rock and roll here. Hey, welcome here. I don't think we did, but anyway. But between Houston and Lubbock, there's a lot of music, Texas, and all throughout. But musical instruments are a big deal, and God, the prices of these things
Oh
are
man.
they're incredible. I love
Yeah,
going
some of
into
those
like a
guitars and
guitar
stuff.
center or
Wow.
something like that. Oh, it's fascinating, and then the values of those things appreciating. And now we have people where churches are doing different kind of music where they're taking their instruments in, they're playing in bands, they're doing a lot more opportunities to travel with those instruments.
Yep.
And I think that people with the musical instruments of significant value need to consider scheduling because they're moving
Absolutely.
around, and you might think that it's covered wherever you're playing or wherever you've left it for a couple of days, but
Probably not.
probably not. And I wouldn't rely on that. And it's pretty affordable to schedule things like that. And it's, of course, if it was lost or stolen, you would just be so glad to have that policy for that.
Well, you said it earlier. Like, let's say you play music in for your church. You're part of your church's ensemble or whatever, and you leave your musical instrument at the church. A lot of people would think, oh, the church's insurance will cover it. It will not. I mean,
No.
their coverage is going to exclude anything that doesn't belong to them, and so you need to schedule it. That's a prime example of a time when you've got that thing off your premises and you really need to have it scheduled if you want it covered. And that's
Yeah.
true with a lot of things, you know. And I would say for musical instruments, think about if I don't know if you've got any clients. I've walked into some clients' homes that have guitar collections of expensive, oh, that one belonged to Jimi Hendrix, and that one, was they'll have a dozen of them hanging on the wall, and you're like, might want to think about scheduling
What?
those.
Yeah. Or you walk in and there's sports memorabilia all over the place.
Oh yeah, expensive
Autographed,
stuff.
signed document, jerseys, football helmets. When I was a kid, that was harder to get back in the day because you had to go get it. But now with the marketplace,
Yeah, you
and
can
that's
buy them.
become its own, it's become its own business to where a lot more people have things like that have transitioned into values. They're not really
Absolutely.
replaceable, right? But you sit there and go, well, I need something for it if something happened to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just a handy policy. Like I say, you can add things to it. You can take them off if you decide, hey, I don't, I looked at mine and had an old camera. I had some cameras on there that were 15 years old, and I was like, I need to take those off. They're not worth anything anymore. So, you just need to keep that schedule cleaned up, and look at it. You don't have to look at it every year, but every 2 or 3 years, you need to go through it. Sit down with your people and say, hey, do we still care about this? Is this something we use? Is it something that's still valuable? And get it cleaned up because the premiums are not cheap. I mean, you get a lot of things on a schedule. It can be a couple $1,000 a year for a schedule. I know mine's expensive because we've got some artwork and things like that, and I've had a client. One of the weird things we tried to insure that got kind of tricky was a client inherited a really, really expensive stamp collection,
Oh,
and from his grandfather, and we couldn't find anybody that would appraise it. There's really no such thing. It used to be there were stamp, I think, collecting shops where you would buy stamp. Well, those are all gone, and so he literally couldn't find anybody to appraise the stamp collection unless he went to New York or something crazy like that. There was nobody in Houston that was appraising stamp collections, and it was really kooky, and we could not. He just ended up putting it in a safety deposit box because he didn't have any way to keep it safe. And so we were like, well, safety deposit box, about the only option. And that's what he did. But I'm just saying it's the appraisal process is tricky. And sometimes with certain things, especially something you inherit, you may not be able to get it appraised.
no.
So.
It's just always something to consider. Insurance is not always the answer for every single thing. But when you have those items and you need to kind of think about, if you're thinking about you might have a Louvre incident at your home,
Heist.
yeah, a heist that could happen. I was reading a lot, looking up at some things on the claims, and a lot of the claim, there's a lot of things that happen during these parties at people's homes.
Oh
You
yeah,
have a
things get
tendency
broken.
sometimes to bring out some of the good stuff, or if you're having the china, all that sort of stuff comes out. And then when the people get a little rowdy at the house and you got some fine art things sitting around and you're doing all that, it's nothing mischievous. It's nothing that anybody's doing anything, Louvre like. But you have to kind of think about, especially if you're going to have a lot of people moving around through the house and all that, you can always choose, of course, to put it up, put it away. But that's kind of the time people like to kind of,
Yeah, you want to show
put,
off your stuff.
yeah,
You know,
put
you've
their
got nice
discussion
things.
pieces and it's beautiful stuff. And you'd hate for things to get knocked over, things to get, like I said, something splashed on it, something like that. And then you're dealing with the situation of, well, that's probably that little instant probably cost a lot of money.
Yeah, we've
And
had some situations where people's kids have gone over to someone's house and knocked over an expensive piece of statuary or of one of those expensive vases or whatever they call them. You know, they've knocked them over and they've gotten broken. And if you have it scheduled, it's not a problem. You know, you're like, oh, don't worry about it. We've got it scheduled. But if it's not covered and the kid just broke a $50,000 vase, it's like, what are we going to do now? And then you've got an
yeah,
issue.
here's my Christmas
You know,
list. You can fill this. I, I, I love that. Up
sorry
here in
about
West,
that
I
vase.
just don't have friends like that. I could pretty much walk in, and most of the time, it's the red Solo cup stuff for me. I think they do that for me if I'm around because they're like, now put it up. I just put it up away from this
Yeah,
guy. Don't let him have it. I drink out of
right.
tin cans. I love these people up here. They know not to put that out in front of me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And also, I think just quickly we should touch on the fact that you can schedule things in the commercial world too. Like a business can schedule equipment, and tools, and things like that. But that's really for another episode. But there are other, things that can be scheduled. So anytime you've got expensive stuff, it's mobile, wearable, mobile. Think about talking to your agent about it. If it's expensive to you, and that's something you have to decide is what's expensive. So.
That's right.
Um, all right. So are we ready to talk about some college football?
We are.
Uh,
I'm ready for some college football this weekend. It should be a very exciting
Very exciting.
Saturday.
Very
We
exciting
got some
Saturday. We're up
friends
in
from the
where's
north.
Kansas State? Where is that?
Uh,
Is that
I don't,
I don't know what
I don't
city that's in. It's
know. Oh, look at that. I
anyway.
need to pay the electric bill. Hold on just a second. There we go. Thank you very much.
Yeah, my headphones go out and you're like we're having some technical difficulties this
Yeah, and the
morning with
crazy thing
part
is
of
I
our
had that
studio
worked on
being on
2 weeks
the
ago.
road.
I think it's Halloween. That's what that was. It's Halloween.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So,
I don't
what
know. Is it
time do the
man?
Raiders play? I think they play 11 o'clock today, right? Or is it a 3
Oh,
o'clock start?
I don't, you know what? I haven't even looked at
Sure.
it. When it's not a home game, I just pull it up like tonight and go, I'll be
Right,
there.
right. But it's
It's an
exciting. We're
important game.
7-1. You know, we've only lost one game. That Arizona State game, kind of hopefully an anomaly. Uh, we whooped up on Oklahoma State pretty good last week, and hopefully this week we'll win at Kansas State and we'll be 8-1. Man, we're really on a roll at that point. I mean, I
I
don't know
know, but
how much better it gets for Texas Tech guys like us, right?
I know, but winning there at home for Kansas State has not been an easy thing for the Red Raiders. I mean, this is
No, it's
where
always a tough
it's
environment.
going to be a tough one, and that's where you're going to find out if we're the same type of team we've been for all these years, or if we're going to be a little different. And I'm excited about it.
I am
There's a lot
too.
of
I am
hoopla
too.
going on here about it, and I hope they go out and really play well and do well. And yeah, I think you and I have a couple of drink bets out there with some of our
Yep,
partners
we
up
do. We
north,
do.
and no matter what, I just look at it as a win-win. We'll be drinking with everybody and with our friends at some point here in a
Yeah, it'll be
couple of
fun.
weeks. So we'll
And
have a
then
good
next
time.
week we're going to try to come up for the BYU game in Lubbock. I'm going to try to come up for that, and so
I,
hopefully maybe we'll do a broadcast from the stadium or something. I don't know. I did kind of halfway figure out the remote setup here, although some of it died on me. I don't know exactly why, but it's all
yeah,
good,
they
and
say they say if Tech
everybody,
wins this game,
yeah,
there's a chance we might have a game day
yeah.
broadcast here, and I think that game's an 11 o'clock a.m. game.
Ooh,
So you guys are going to have to get up here early because we're going to have to go tear it up early
yeah. Get
and
up
have a good
early
time for
and
game day. Oh, it'll be fun.
it should be fun. But anyway, I think we're about ready to wrap it up, and everybody have a nice weekend. Enjoy the beautiful weather. If you're in Texas, I think most of the states enjoying some nice cool weather at this point. So have a good weekend, everybody. Guns up, and
Wreck 'em.
we will see everyone next Friday.